backs, we're going to jump to tight ends because there's not that many.
I like it.
There's Jimmy Graham and then everyone else.
Yeah, is there a talk about
Let's go ahead and get started by talking about, we're not even going to talk about Hernandez because he gone.
Yeah, if he ever plays football again, it'll be out in the yard.
He won't. He won't. But, so who they got left? Gronk?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at my 6. I didn't put Gronk on there.
What? Are you serious?
No, I didn't. And I even waffled about it. I mean, because I know he's there on the list, and I know when he starts playing, he will be the monster that Gronk is. But, last year he was hurt as much as he was. As soon as he came back, he hurt something else.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about injury prone, and I know Gronk's a freak, but he's going to have to prove it to me this year. The guys I've got on my list, I think, dependable-wise, if I'm picking my fantasy team, of course, like I said, number 1, Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, there's no argument.
Drew Brees is throwing 1,000,000 yards and 1,000,000 touchdowns, and no injuries last year. Same offense. Sean Payton's back.
Yeah.
Huge. Go back to the last segment. Can I switch Rodgers and Brees? Can I put Brees back first?
No, you already committed. So
it's on the show.
So
you got Jimmy Graham.
I got Jimmy Graham.
Right?
Yeah. I want to hear all 6 first, and then I want to talk to you about Gronk.
So you want to shoot down the people I name?
Yeah,
because they're not Gronk. I got Jason Witten too. I know he had a little injury bug, but gets a lot of catches. Tony Gonzalez is coming back. I've got him 3, and it's really more out of looking at the list of names of tight ends, and the ones I don't know, I don't think I want to know. I mean, who thought last year, all of a sudden after what the Patriots did and Jimmy Graham did, they thought the league was going to be nothing but tight ends, like it was the new position that was going to be crazy. And I went down this list, and I was disappointed. I had Gonzalez 3rd. I got Kyle Rudolph 4th. I know a lot of you out there might not know about Kyle Rudolph, but pretty much had a touchdown a game last year for Ponder and the Vikings. And if AP gets the running game going like he can, get him in the red zone, Kyle Rudolph,
he will score.
I got him 4. 5, I got Jermichael Finley. I dipped a little bit for him, but, them not having Greg Jennings anymore, I know they've still got Cobb and James Jones and all that, but Finley is a red zone threat, which is what you want your tight end to be. Some teams use him to move the sticks. I want mine to score touchdowns. So, and then 6, Jermaine Gresham. Cincinnati. I mean, like Kyle Rudolph, a lot of people don't realize how good Gresham is and what he does. Dalton's better than people think. A.J. Green's better, and I think Cincinnati's going to be a better team this year. Pittsburgh's taking a step back. I've been dogging Big Ben. So, all right, go ahead and tell me that Gronk's better than all 6 of them.
You already know Gronk is better than all 6 of them. Jimmy Graham, arguably number 1, even with a healthy Gronk. I get that. But the question, you actually said disappointed. The list is disappointing after Jimmy Graham. I would rather have an injured Gronk and pick up tight end week every week. And on the week Gronk plays, I want to have that advantage at Gronk. I'm not going to waste a high pick on him. You're right.
So you stash him.
So you stash him.
That's what you're saying.
I mean,
which in football is plausible.
Yeah.
It depends. I mean, where I've seen him in the ranks, when I didn't put him on there, I was surprised. You talk about being disappointed. I was surprised to see Gronk as high as he was.
Yeah, and that's arguable.
We're talking. He had 3 surgeries
in the offseason
on his arm. Had like 2 back surgeries or something. I mean, who has 5 surgeries in an offseason? And again, he's a freak. And I deliberately left him off my list, and I'm going to catch flack. Just wait till we start doing receivers and defenses. I'll catch it too. But I like Yahoo, but I don't think they know everything.
No, and I agree.
I think
you look at, because that's what we play on, guys. If you didn't know, we play on Yahoo. And real quick, I'm going to tell you where they have Gronkowski at on here, if we can find him just real quick.
We were real prepared.
Yeah.
By the way.
Well, it's not important.
I've seen Eddie Lacy's name. That's hilarious.
But to go on the Gronk channel, like I said, the tight end pool is so terrible. I would be dropping and adding whoever is starting. He's 63 right now on Yahoo's ranking.
Right behind Andrew Luck, right before Darren Sproles.
So, I mean, in the 5th round area in a 12-man league.
you guys got to realize, too, when you start picking your teams, all this is going to change, all these rankings. We're still 7 weeks away. Preseason hasn't even started yet. There could be people you're looking at,
They could completely
They
affect
could get
it.
hurt. We learned a few years ago you can't draft your teams too easy or too early because it'll happen. You'll lose someone, so picking like the third or fourth week of the preseason, and
that's a great time to pick. But to my argument is, 1 minute here. We'll wrap this up. My argument right here for Rob Gronk, as I wrap up my top 6, I have Jimmy, Gronk, Tony Gonzalez, Jason Witten, Vernon Davis, Greg Olsen. And I have Greg Olsen up there. I mean, we've already talked about.
I thought about putting Olsen in mine.
We've already talked about Cam. I'm high on Cam this year. And if Cam is beasting for all 16 games, the whole season, Greg Olsen is going to be beasting.
I do like Greg Olsen. And I like
so
Vernon Davis.
Those two guys go hand in hand.
Me, Vernon Davis, I've had him 2 years in a row in fantasy. And
Yeah.
last year, once Kaepernick came in, Alex Smith was there. Vernon Davis did a lot. Kaepernick came. I'm hoping it's different.
I think
I've heard
it will
they're
be
talking
different.
about using him as a receiver.
And I think it will be different. And I think the Crabtree injury, sucks for Crabtree. I hate that. I know we all want to see him get hurt, but it helps Vernon Davis. And Quinn Bolden is there, but he's been around Vernon Davis now. It'll be his 3rd season there. He knows what he can do. He's going to give him the ball.
He can block, too. Bolden's the best blocking receiver there is. All right, well, that's about it, guys. We're going to go ahead and close this segment. I think is going to be the last segment. We're at least going to do our closing at the end. We might add some in between, so I guess if we do that, you'll hear it already. So, anyway. Team defense is kind of a soft spot for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I've always made it a point to pick a good team defense. Again, our league, it's got crazy bonuses that aren't just big catches, big runs. I mean, we've got team D points for 3 down and out, or
3 and out,
fourth down stops, tackles for loss. We've got big return yards, which is another thing that a lot of people don't look at. You think defense, but that is a huge aspect of fantasy points.
And even standard scoring leagues, it says defense and special teams. And it doesn't take the special teams into account in standard scoring, which I don't understand.
You even say team defense.
Yeah.
You don't say special teams.
You don't say it.
Right.
And standard scoring doesn't take that into account, and we do. It should be. Maybe our scoring is a little over the top, but it makes it fun. And that's why we do it.
Point of reference, I've been using the Jets 2 years in a row. We all know what the Jets have been the last 2 years, and they crush it for me, for my team D.
Yeah.
Granted, in a standard league, I don't know if that'd be the case. I'm sure they did decent. But if you do good at picking an offensive team and good offensive players, the team D brings it all together. Plus, a lot of people like to float defenses. If that's your thing, go ahead at your own risk. But I'm one that likes to get someone that's dependable, that I can count on every week. And then the question marks can be my other positions. I've got enough to worry about with my slot guys. I don't need to find a new defense every week.
I agree. I mean, and especially in the way the league is right now, there's a lot of good ones. Claim one that's good that you don't have to worry about. Even in standard scoring, I would rather bank on 10 points than no points. Just do it.
How high you go?
Number 1, we're kind of different. I have San Fran. They just stop here from scoring. And that's huge.
Super Bowl.
There
The
you go.
same thing about Kaepernick, when it's Super Bowl, man. I mean, defense is half the team. And no, I love San Fran, and I think last year they were ranked first for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And when I pulled up Yahoo this year, which is what I based my initial reaction for Team D's, I was surprised. I don't want to say disappointed like I was tight ends, but I was surprised at some of the order. And the first team, boom, on the top was Seattle. That's my number 1. And Seattle, it's so funny to talk about. ESPN did the Westbound and Down skits, 2 seasons ago, and now they're like one of the toughest divisions, and they have got headhunters. Pete Carroll is the Belichick of the West, and they will put it on you without caring. And like I said earlier, they added Antoine Winfield to beef up the secondary that didn't even need beefed up anyway. They've got good pass rushers. And then we talked the return game. They got Percy Harvin, man.
That's huge. And maybe I didn't account Percy into my
That's the
thought.
first thing I thought when I seen Seattle at the top was Percy Harvin's return.
And that's huge. But we haven't seen him in preseason yet. Maybe it'll change. I don't know how much they'll use him because he is their number one receiver. Maybe they'll chance him, maybe they won't. If he's returning kicks, they're a legit number one. Take them. But for me, I got him down just a tad.
Again, too, look at the division.
It's tough.
You know, I mean, it's got tougher, but it could be tougher too. You know, I mean, they're out there. Seattle's on an island. I mean, and for me, and when I seen it, when I pulled up the rankings, I thought, of course, Seattle's first. And it's just funny to think 2 years ago, you know, even last year, someone picked them up off the wire.
Yep.
Nobody drafted
Seattle's
defense last year.
Nope.
You know, so I'm right there with you. I got San Fran too. You know, all the points you made, like I said, they were a good enough team to go to the Super Bowl. This will be the last year in their old stadium, you know, so they're going to want to play hard before they move into the new stadium. Young team, you know.
Great
They
coach.
lost Golson, you know, which is a hit, but they made good draft picks. And, yeah, no, I think San Francisco, there you go, another NFC West team.
So that means you got number 2?
Right there, I do. Who you got?
I got Chicago number 2.
Chicago.
And
The Bears.
the Bears, and it's basically Peanut Tillman. They create so many turnovers into scores, it's insane. They had like 12 touchdowns, 10 touchdowns last season as a defense.
Yep.
They might not do that this season, but they'll be close. They've done it year in and year out. Urlacher's not going to be there. Maybe that they take a hit a little bit, but
We talked
as
earlier,
of right now, I think they're number 2.
We talked earlier about that when we were coming back from Tunica and Detroit was playing Chicago, and Brent had Matt Stafford, and he threw like 3 pick sixes, and he still had 40 points. You know who his team defense was? Chicago, who also had like 50 points at the end of the game. So that goes to show you, in fantasy, with the bonuses, even when you're sitting there pulling your hair out, worst case scenario, and yes, I agree, Chicago is turnover machines. The other DB, what was his name? I can't think of it either, but he had even more picks than Tillman.
Yeah,
I think.
Tillman's just turnover.
And, I mean, they lost Urlacher, but, you know, whatever. I'm sure they'll
be
draft
fine.
people. They're the Bears. You know, linebackers isn't an issue, but they could take a step back from that, and they play in a tough division, you know.
You got to play Green Bay twice. You got to play Detroit twice. It is tough, but I think they'll be all right. Number 3,
Chicago?
Yeah, 2 out of Chicago, 3 out of Seattle. Everything you just said. If they live up to all the hype, all everything, they do what they did last year, they're a legit number 1. I have them a little down, maybe because I'm a little afraid they might have peaked last season. If they live up to it, then it's great. You can't go wrong with them.
Like I said, man, allegedly they're all roided up.
Yeah.
It's the temple of boom.
Yeah.
And if y'all haven't seen Seattle play or watched the highlights, you need to see it. They're taking blocks off. And I know you don't get fantasy points for that, but you love watching your fantasy team do that. And if you've got them as your team D, and then you see Percy Harvin run back a couple kick returns, yeah, you'll like it. So, I have them at 1. At 3, I've got the Texans.
Whoa, okay.
Houston. J.J. Watt, man.
J.J. Watt.
The dude had like 17 and a half sacks or something last year, and I'm pretty sure he was hurt for a little while or something. But, you know, whenever they switched, you know, they got Wade Phillips. They switched to the 3-4. I mean, and it's really helped. You know, I have to watch the Texans play. I'm a Titans fan. We've been on the losing end for seasons now, and I had Foster last year. I watched the Texans play, and Houston, I really think, you know, J.J. Watt's going to be even better, as crazy as that sounds. You know, all his teammates say the same, and I don't really see them being in that division that's so easy. The AFC South, they play the Titans twice, the Jags twice, the
Colts.
Missing one, the Colts, who have been down, you know, before. And, yeah, man, so, I've got Houston 3.
I got Houston 4. I mean, everything you just said falls right in line. Wade Phillips, that division. I had them on my team last year. Special team-wise, they don't score a ton. You know, they did get rid of Jacoby Jones, who they had, and they got rid of him, and then you saw what he did in Baltimore.
Super Bowl.
It hurt them. But take all that away, they still got J.J. Watt. They still got Johnson Joseph out on the edge, or on the corner, my bad. And
No, I mean
they're a killer
I'm
D.
telling you too, the division it matters. I've seen a stat on ESPN that said that the AFC South has like the worst winning percentage of any division by far.
Yeah.
You know?
Houston's peaking at the right time, just like the Colts peaked at the right time. So we got a number 5.
I'm at 4.
Or 4. Who you got
4? One we already talked about, Chicago. Of course, the Bears. You know, I mean, don't nobody want to play the Bears.
Nope.
Again, as a Titans fan, last year they beat the Titans like 50-10 or something. Brent was at that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was probably cheering for his team D. But anyway, yeah, I got Chicago 4, and then I went a little different on 5.
Who do you got?
Cincy.
No, hey,
Cincinnati.
Great D.
You know, I mean, just like we talked about A.J. Green, they're under the radar, man. Marvin Lewis, big defensive mind. I mean, they've always got pass rushers. A lot of people pick them up in leagues and then drop them or aren't happy with them. But if you look at their production,
They commit. They really do make a difference. They got great inside dudes. They're outside dudes. And Pac-Man Jones, you never know what he can do with the ball in his hands. He hasn't been the same, after the trouble. But he can return a kick every now and then. You never know.
So who you got 5?
I got Denver 5.
That's good.
I mean, the pass rush, Peyton
They
gives
lost
them.
Zoomerville.
They did lose Zoomerville.
With Von Miller.
But they got great inside dudes. If you play IDP, Wesley Woodyard is a tackle machine.
Mm-hmm. Did he play for the Steelers?
No. He's played in Denver, I think, his whole career. But Peyton gives them a lead. And when a defense plays with a lead, they're more aggressive. They don't have to worry as much. They just play better. I mean, look what they did with Tebow. I mean, they kept him in every game just to let him win some. So that's a great team D.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to cut it to 5. But, yeah, that's a good top 5 for your team Ds. So, y'all, check it out. Good luck this year in fantasy. All right, guys. Hey, this is Marshall back. I'm here with Nate.
Yep.
As always, we're back, and this is going to be the closing part to our show. I hope y'all enjoyed everything. I hope that we can help you guys pick good fantasy teams this year. You know, if you've never played before, you're going to love it, and hopefully if you listen to the podcast, check it out. What we need people to do is really just listen and share it. Tell your friends and your family. We're going to start it on Facebook. If you follow me, Marshall Dillon, or Nathan Sharp, anything that we can get, comments, likes, we need it to catch on and people to find out about it, because once they do, eventually we're going to do YouTube videos, and maybe eventually our own website. We really need it to blow, so we need you guys positive comments and just to share it with everyone and tell them what's up. Facebook, Twitter, whatever you can do. We're going to try and do the show weekly. We don't really know what day yet, but once the season starts, it's cracking.
Yeah.
This is just preseason. We're really just looking at numbers. We keep joking like this is going to change. Even our picks will change. We'll probably record this 2 weeks from now, and the order will be
everything will change.
Nate was just ready to change his order, and it took like 3 seconds. So, for sure, we're going to have guest spots. We do a 12-man league, and we're going to have guys that are in our league that have, been through the trenches, and they're going to be in here with us,
They can get loud. They can get obnoxious. They have their own opinions, and they're pretty strong. So be ready.
Just talking fantasy, man.
Yeah.
Fantasy points.
There's money on it. There's pride on it. There's trash talk on it. Everybody likes to back up their dude, and that's what makes fantasy fun. So share us, comment us questions, comment us anything.
Yeah, man, if there's something you don't like about the show, or there's
Let us
something
know.
we're doing, or a segment you want to hear us do, we'll take like fan suggestions. You can message us or whatever, but we really wanted to catch on, and we really hope you guys liked it. And thanks for listening, and on to the next one.
On to the next one. I like it. We're out.